All right, let's talk about measuring tools. Measuring tools are super important in science, in math, in almost anything really. Measuring tools are how we get our numbers, quantitative data or observations. So for tools, let's talk about what we might use. We have to use tools to measure mass, temperature, volume, time, length. These are all things that we need quantitative data for. So we need something to get the numbers. So for mass, one that we use in science is this balance or scale. And so we will flip this up, set something on here on the scale, and then measure its mass, measure how much it weighs. This is called a triple beam balance. You won't use these a lot, but if you go to like the doctor's office, you'll see this where they have these things they have to move around. And so this is a true balance because you're trying to balance the weight over here with the weight over here. One that you use at home a lot probably is a bathroom scale. So if you need to weigh yourself, or if you have a pet that you need to weigh before it goes to the vet or something like that, a bathroom scale is also a measuring tool for mass or weight. Temperature. So a thermometer is the world's greatest device for measuring temperature. There's tons of different thermometers. There's this one. There are other ones that are pure glass. There are ones that are electronic. Like probably in your bathroom right now, you have a thermometer that you stick under your tongue to see if you have a fever or not. So thermometers are super common. You've probably used one before. Volume. There are tons of different measuring tools for volume. In science, probably the most common one is a graduated cylinder. So a graduated cylinder measures volume in milliliters, which we'll talk about later this week. It goes up by about 2 milliliters at a time, and so that's why it's called a graduated cylinder. So one, it's a cylinder. But two, graduated. So think about something that's going up gradually. So going up gradually goes up small amounts at a time. So graduated cylinder goes up 2 milliliters at a time. It's gradually increasing, a graduated cylinder. And we also have beakers and flasks. This one specifically is an Erlenmeyer flask. And so we use these a lot in science as well. They're very classic science equipment measuring tools. Ones that you've probably used before are teaspoons, tablespoons, measuring cups. We use those a lot in cooking and baking. And so these also are measuring tools for volume. Again, how much space something takes up. So it takes up that much space. For time, we have some handy ones right here. So a stopwatch is a great time measuring tool. A clock is a great time measuring tool, so you've definitely used those before too. And the last one, length. So in science, we will use a meter stick. It's very similar to a yardstick. Meter stick starts at 1 centimeter, goes to 99, 100. So 1 meter is 100 centimeters. One you've definitely used before is a ruler. So a ruler is 1 foot, and to use that to measure length. So those are some great measuring tools. But this year, you might find yourself at home without a proper measuring tool around. I can almost guarantee you don't have an Erlenmeyer flask, or one of our scientific balances, or a meter stick. But you do have what we call a reference. So a reference is something you use that you know the numbers of it. So like a piece of paper, you know is 8.5 by 11 inches long. So you have 11 inches, 8.5 inches. And so if ever we need you to measure something at home, you can just grab a piece of paper, hold it up to whatever you're measuring. So I want to measure my phone. It's hard to do it in the camera. But I know that this piece of paper is 11 inches long here. It's about halfway. So my phone is probably about 5.5 inches long. So a reference is something you use when you don't have the exact measurement. Or like, I have myself a coffee cup. On the bottom of most coffee cups, it tells you its volume. 20 ounces, so this is 20 ounces. So if ever you need to measure something out, you don't have a measuring cup on hand, if you need 10 ounces, fill this up halfway. So you don't always need a proper measuring tool in order to do science or whatever you need to do. Okay?